Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Club Lorcana podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremy Bertrioni, with me as always, and Syed.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. We're still getting the new studio set up. We had some unfortunate camera trouble at the beginning of this podcast, but there's a lot here for the viewers to look forward to. We have the top-mounted camera.
Yep.
It's pretty exciting for trading card games. You know, you might get to see some live games soon between Zan and whoever else he brings into his house.
Yeah, probably you first.
No, I mean, maybe. I don't think they want to see me play. I'm just horrible.
That's not true. They can watch your match against Zach Bivens in Vegas.
I think I played fine against Zach Bivens, but I did lose. Anyway, I like to start off our podcast with like a snapshot of the meta, and I think the best way to do that is we're just coming off of the Charlie's Collectibles 10K this weekend.
Yep. I was not able to attend, even though it's in my backyard.
Sad, because some people flew from quite a ways.
Yeah, I mean, I recently came back from Paris, wedding happening, so, I had to commit some time to wedding preparation,
It sounds like something you had to do. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been married, so I don't know what you have to do. What do you mean you had to commit some time? You're not getting married till January.
Yeah, but there's a whole organizational process.
So let's talk about the top 8. We had, of course, Brendan DeCandio winning
back to back.
Back to back. Right. I was just about to say, yeah.
So this was an 8K that was upgraded to a 10K.
Shout out to Charlie, by the way. That's really nice of him to do. Yeah. He didn't have to do that.
He didn't really have to do that. And, people flew out, which was also amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I really like to see local tournaments grow into, global tournaments.
And part of it is because he made it a 10K, that just shows that he's definitely, his heart's in the right place. I actually got to talk to him on the way out, and he was like, do you think it's fine if, he was like, we lost a lot on the last 10K, but if I make it an 8K, I'm like pretty much a lock to not lose. And if it could be a 10K, I'll make it a 10K. Do you think players would prefer that? Is it like fine with players? I was like, yes, they want you to do well. I love that. Don't overpromise.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you show that you're willing to bet on the community, and then they show up and then you reward them, well, you can't think of a better relationship.
Exactly. So I was really happy with how the event was run, where the event was run. It looked like the side events were going all weekend, and I'm happy for Charlie. Obviously, you and I know Charlie. He's right in our backyard. He seemed to be doing a good job. So Amber Steel got first.
Yep.
Some other decks in the top 8. There was a blue-red deck. Kendall Burdett, who you may or may not have ever heard of or know. He got top 4 with red-purple.
Yep.
So we have Amber Steel, of which I think there were 2 copies, but there might have been more. I should check right now.
Yeah. I think there were a couple copies
4
in top 8. The deck did well, and Brennan ended up winning.
Okay, top 8 copies of Amber Steel. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4, but they weren't all the same. They're basically 2 different Amber Steel builds.
Yeah.
There's sort of DeCandio's list, which involves Dwarven Mine.
Yep.
He calls it Diggy Dig Hole.
Nice.
Which is a reference to something
that I don't know.
I think I remember seeing it a lot on YouTube. There was a 4 Wizards video that was really popular. Anyway, and then there's one version without Dwarven Mine that's super aggressive. Usually plays Daisy Duck, things of that nature. And then there is a Steel Song version, sort of the old school one that plays 3-mana Ariel, looks at the top 4 for a whole new world and stuff like that. Most of these are not playing that.
Yeah, they're not, because these are all in aggressive builds that don't want to be playing a certain number of songs that Ariel needs to work.
Mm-hmm. But one of the ones in the top 8 was playing that version. I just looked.
Yeah.
It's even got one Cinderella Stout-Hearted.
I'm specifically talking about Brennan's version.
Right, yeah.
So let's talk about what happened. So the first thing I want to say is, so since I have a Worlds invite, and Worlds is going to be set 7, I can be a little bit more open about testing and what I've been thinking. So let's go through this journey real quick. So now at this point, it's been 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeremy and I met up for the fight, which was the Tyson, not Logan Paul.
It was Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Was that 3 weeks ago?
It was a long time ago.
It was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Basically, set 6, fresh, and basically I'm like, green purple is absolutely broken. So Jeremy and I meet up. We test. Jeremy, Ryan, and I meet up and we test that. The first day they opened up the set 6. So actually this was like 4 weeks or 3 weeks in a couple days ago. We then come back I don't think it was the same day. Was it the same day? I don't think it was the same day.
I mean, when we tested during the Mike Tyson fight, that was the end of that day.
It was on that Friday. Okay, yeah. I remember what happened. So we met up on Tuesday, and I was convinced green purple is broken. And so we played green purple, and I was like, this is going to farm blue red and red purple, right? And so, and it has like a surprise element that ends up being good against emerald steel. And so I was like, okay, green purple is my top runner. Fast forward to that Friday, and I had heard a rumor that Brennan DeCandio and Frank Karsten were working on this aggro deck, this amber steel aggro deck. I was like, okay, this would be a nice exercise for me to try and build my own version of it. And so I built my own version of it, and basically later that day we had a meeting with NA versus EU. Basically the captains meet with their whole team and we go over deck list and what we're going to be submitting. And I knew I'm going to get to see Brandon's deck list, so I want to see how far off we were going to be. So we ended up basically being 4 cards off of each other, and I was like, okay, that's great because this deck has been doing really well in testing. And the thing that he played that I didn't play was the Dwarven Mine package. And I felt like that took the deck to another level. So basically in my mind was the format was going to go in waves. And the first wave was going to be green-purple, right? Because everybody's going to be playing blue-red because of sale. And so, fast forward to the first my first match of the NA versus EU. I play against Artabax, who's playing green-purple. And I know that his version is going to have a slightly advantage, against regular green steel. So I put like Captain Hooks. Mm-hmm. I end up getting a little unlucky and I end up losing. But that kind of played out the way that I thought the format was going to play out like weeks prior.
Right.
So I was like, okay, green purple is going to have a huge push. Him winning set what I thought was going to happen into motion, like kind of expedited everything. And so here we go. We go to Paris, and what ends up happening? Green purple ends up having a dominant performance, ends up losing in the finals. But Artabax has like a crazy run, and still the version of Amber Steel that's seeing play is Amber Steel Songs, which is the version that's not doing well against this green purple deck. Actually, this aggro version of Amber Steel, which is doing well, right? So now Continentals happens, and guess what happens? Green purple wins. I mean, green purple dominates, but it's like the new deck that dominates, not like red purple, right? So we come to CCS the week after, and basically, weeks prior, I was working on the Amber Steel deck, and I saw Brandon's deck, and I was like, this is the natural evolution of the format to beat the same matchups. Because it's still gonna have a good matchup against blue red because it's aggressive. Same good matchups against red purple.
Yeah.
Because the Lilo just lines up really well against red purple.
Which is a big change because it used to be that red purple could sort of farm Amber Steel.
Amber Steel Songs for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't think about it we should think of Amber Steel aggro as a completely different deck.
100%.
It just is. And so this Amber Steel aggro deck lines up super well against green purple. And that's the deck that was extremely, extremely popular at CCS. and is the deck that got farmed. The reason why there are 3 Amber Steel aggro decks where it wasn't present in Paris at all, right? And so now what I think is going to happen is I think Green Steel is set up for a return because Green Steel, like the version that I've been playing, with more muses and more with Ursula, with docks, and with mines, lines up really well against Amber Steel aggro and Green Purple.
This new Amber Steel aggro deck.
Yep.
Wow. So they caught up to you.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what the dilemma is. The dilemma is, where are you supposed to catch the wave?
It sounds like you're right on the money for CCS. If you had played Emerald Steel, you probably would have been in a pretty good spot. You're definitely hurting a lot of the top players in that room who are playing Amber Steel. So yeah, I played against Red Purple my first round, and then it was like Green Purple, Amber Steel, Red Purple, Amber Steel.
Okay.
And I was out.
So I mean, that's exactly the meta I want to play against.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Do you feel like if you could go back in time, you would play a different deck? You played Red Purple, right?
I played Red Purple. I pretty much played Kendall's exact list, so much that he even talked me into his cheeky fishbone, Maui's fishhook.
Maui's fishhook, yep.
He talked me into it. I decided to play it, whatever. It's the fun thing. I think it was horrible. It's awful for me all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played Red Purple. A lot of the times, the aggressive decks just kind of like got away from me. There didn't seem like much else I could do. But I'm kind of in a weird spot in Lorcana right now, or like I'm like questioning if I'm even capable of playing at all. It feels like every time I lose, I don't know what I could have done different. I could have inked different things, but I'm like not sure how that would have helped, if that makes sense.
Yeah, usually that means it's like the bigger picture, right? The bigger picture is the deck that you're playing.
Sure, could be.
Right. If there's like no paths to winning, usually in Lorcana, it's like you played the wrong deck.
I could believe I played the wrong deck, but Kendall Burdett did well with the deck. So
yeah, but we also, I mean, that's one person. How many people played Red Purple?
But he consistently does well.
It doesn't matter. It's one person.
That matters.
If there's 10 people playing it,
a lot of people played Red Purple. There's a lot of Red Purple.
Okay, so if there's 10 people who played it, who's the most likely Red Purple player to make it through?
Me.
Kendall.
Oh.
So he's the only one who made it. Everybody else fell, right?
Yeah.
So that what actually makes sense that Red Purple is a good deck is when the player that you expect who is not going to play perfectly ends up making it to top 8.
Right.
So let's say we had 4 copies of Red Purple and Kendall ends up winning the tournament. It's not the fact that Kendall won the tournament. It's those other people that made top 8 with him that were playing Red Purple that makes. So everybody becomes focused on the one person who's representing the deck. So if I do well with the deck and every other Green Steel player doesn't do well with the deck, that's actually saying like, please, you shouldn't be playing the deck. Right. I might be making 100% all the right plays and getting super lucky and all this stuff. You know?
I saw Kevin playing Blurple. Maybe I should have played Blurple.
And how do you do?
Kevin's a good player. I saw him at the top tables a little later in the day. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see him. He's not in the top 8 or the top 16 or the top 32, so he fell a little bit short of those.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if there's a player that we don't know that ends up in the top 8 with Blurple, then we have to go explore it. But I mean, the tools for the deck don't exist.
Right. So
what are we even talking about?
You gotta play decks that don't exist. I'm just yeah. So and then what else made top 8? There was a Purple Steel list.
Yep.
It looked good.
I mean, Purple Steel is a solid deck.
I feel like the 2 best colors in the game right now are purple and steel, so that makes a lot of sense. It just so happens that they don't don't always cover each other very well. Like red purple, you're covering some of the weaknesses of purple with the red cards, and then like green purple, you're more aggressive with like some of those aggressive green cards like Curse Morfolk. Steel purple, it just feels like they're both decks that are good at killing smaller guys, but in 2 different ways. So I think that deck is always kind of fighting itself a little bit. But I get that all the cards are great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest problem in that deck is like are you playing it mid range or are you playing it aggro? And I think that the answer right now is always going to be aggro because it needs to end the game because it doesn't actually do anything better than red purple.
Right.
Except for being more aggressive.
So then there's your answer. But it's interesting to me that red steel is in that spot. It speaks to good game design on behalf of Lorcana, right? Because you could see a world where the two best colors are purple and steel. So the purple steel deck is broken. And then we're like somehow like not there, which I think is kind of cool.
Well, we've known that the whole time. The reason why we know that the whole time is because there's in a lot of Lorcana so far, it's been, blue red and purple red, right? Mm-hmm. And if you combine the opposite colors there, doesn't add up, right? And if you do amber steel and red purple for a lot of the time, then you end up in the same spot. When has red steel ever been a remotely playable deck?
One guy had a good time with it once, and that was cool, and we all liked it.
Exactly. We all liked it, but was it the right thing? Probably not.
Probably not. There's a blue. So we got 4 amber steels, a blue red, a purple steel, a red purple. There's one more deck, right? So I'm going to go look at what it is right now. I think it's green purple, but let me check. Yep, it's nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What did I miscount? The top 4 is amber steel, blue red, amber steel, red purple, purple steel, and then it's amber steel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 lists here for top 8, so there's an unknown in the top 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens. We don't get perfect knowledge all the time in Lorcana so far, and I hope that we start advocating for publishing as much data as possible.
I think that this full list got shipped to Inkdex, so it might just be a work in progress. They're working on it. It also could be the next list, which just says top 16, but maybe it's just the top 8 list. In that case, it would be green purple. I think that just speaks to how much of it in the room. It was a ton of I walked up and down the aisles doing my due diligence, and it was like a lot of the match. I personally played against it twice.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I mean, other people, our other friends that we talked to, they were like, yeah, green purple was everywhere.
It was everywhere. I beat it once when I played it, and I lost to it once.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect.
Right.
And it was probably that you won the die roll once and lost the die roll once.
I beat Jeremy Edmondson.
Oh, he's playing green purple?
He was playing green purple.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so let's, now that we have a bunch of data from CCS, let's rewind a little bit back to what the dilemma was. So when I went to Paris, the qualifiers were completely different than the big tournaments. Mm-hmm. Qualifiers were all amber steel songs. So basically any preparation I had went kind of out the door. Mm-hmm. Right? Like if you play green purple there, you had to get really lucky. I mean, I know Artifacts made it through, but the numbers say like you're gonna run into amber steel songs like 30% of the time.
Did he make it through the LCQs?
Yep.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
With green purple, but I think that if we're talking about the main event, I think that green purple was a great choice. So remember, I'm talking to you about how my testing was. I knew that green purple was a great deck, and it was a level 1 deck. Then I knew that because I knew that blue red was going to be super popular. Then I knew that if people are playing green purple, then a good counter to that is going to be amber steel aggro, which also lines up against green purple, and it still lines up well against blue red. It's less good than green purple is, but it's still a slightly favorable matchup.
Right.
Then you have the next level after that, which is like green steel beats both of these 2 decks that are coming about. So the dilemma is, which one are you supposed to pick if you can see the whole picture?
A lot of people would say whichever one you're most comfortable playing. Deck experience beats this.
Yes, but for me, I would say that I put in enough time and effort that I'll play all of the strategies at the highest level as long as I know which one is the right choice. And the right choice can't be based off of which one I can play well. That doesn't apply to like the amount of effort that I'm going to put in.
Which one has the most Disney characters that you like?
I feel like this is escaping me. Escaping the reasons that I care about.
Oh. Well, in that case, I mean,
Well, I'm gonna say this. Okay, we can break it down even further. All right, my priority number one is to win. So Disney characters go out the window.
right.
Yep.
They can't all go out the window. Every card is a Disney character.
But what I'm saying is prioritizing based off the Disney characters.
I mean, if everything else is equal, how do you make a choice?
I'm trying to figure out what like a process to. If I'm in this position again, where I can see the entire picture, I can see that green purple is the level 1 deck, amber steel aggro is the level 2 deck, and green steel, counter aggro is like the third step. Which one am I supposed to pick? I picked green steel.
Right.
Right? The one that counters these two decks. But what was actually the right answer? I think that the right actual answer was, I think I should play level 1.
Amber steel.
Nope. I said level 1 was green purple. And then I said the counter to green purple was amber steel aggro. And the counter to amber steel aggro
is green steel.
So which one's level 1?
It's rock, paper, scissors. It just depends on where you start, which was green, purple.
It's not rock, paper, scissors, because rock, paper, scissors is a decision you can make at the same exact time. Because you go rock, paper, scissors. Nope. It's green, purple is going to be good for a tournament. And if I think that 30% of the people are going to be like, yeah, I'm bringing green, purple, then I should probably bring amber, steel, aggro.
Green, purple is great. You can play the new genie.
Great card. But you see, it's like a difficult decision. Which one would you pick? I picked the green steel. But people didn't make it to level 2. You know what I mean? Amber Steel aggro had very little representation, if any, in Paris Continentals. So, basically what I'm saying is, we should be thinking, there is a thing as being too far ahead,
Definitely. I mean, that was the thing in Magic the Gathering too, was play the best deck or the deck that beats the best deck. Yeah, it was the dilemma there, and the answer was almost always play the best deck.
That means the answer would have been blue-red,
which is where you landed, right? You played blue-red.
Yeah,
for one of the LCQs.
For the LCQ. Because the LCQ was in the Stone Ages.
Sure, of course. But the main tournament, though, you were going to play green steel.
I was going to play green steel.
But you think the right answer might have been purple green.
Yeah, or amber steel aggro.
Okay, well, we didn't make any progress.
I brought all of those decks because I anticipated that. Because I knew that it was somewhere in the timeline of how things were going to go.
Sure.
But I didn't know how much progress an LCQ was going to have, how much effect of the LCQ winners was going to have on the Paris Continentals.
Probably not very much.
I don't know. I feel like now it's kind of changed because guess what? An LCQ winner won the entire tournament. So don't you think that, in the last podcast, we talked about how I got a buy in one of the LCQs.
Yeah.
Right? I got a buy. And what happened? I got, destroyed.
Right.
Right? I got destroyed against Amber Steel songs. And basically what I'm saying is, it didn't feel like that much of an advantage because I think Lorcana is a momentum game. I would rather just play the matches.
Yeah.
If I'm going to win that whole... Because I have to win every match.
Yep.
I'm going to win the whole thing. And I think that an LCQ winner is actually the most prepared person. Their butt's been against the wall before their tournament started for 5 rounds.
They're like a Rocky, they're hungry. They just did the run.
Exactly. So they just continued that run all the way till the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
So they're just on that adrenaline, right? And I think that momentum, I think that the scariest person is an LCQ winner.
Okay. So me in
I hope so.
Me in Continentals
would be a scary person if you made it through the LCQ. So making it through the LCQ, I think that people are gonna prioritize it differently. They're gonna be like, these are the decks that won the LCQ because that's open information.
Yeah.
So I think that data.
Well, the United States is different than Europe socially. Also, people are so sweaty in the United States. They're going to have those lists up testing against them that night.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
And so those are going to determine people's choices for that tournament. What do you mean? You get to play at Worlds? And why am I sharing this now? Because I'm qualified for Worlds.
Right.
If I wasn't qualified for Worlds, I wouldn't be talking about this. But now I'm giving you the gymnastics that my mind is going through.
Lucky us. We get to hear Zan's mental gymnastics.
Yeah. So these are the mental gymnastics. So if I could go back in time, I would have not sat at the wrong table.
Right.
Won the tournament with Blue Red. And I think that the choice would not have been green steel. I think that it should have been more level 1 and gone for either green purple or amber steel aggro.
Green purple is level 1.
And I think I should have gone green purple. And so, sometimes I need to restrain myself from even building the next deck. I should put the idea in place, but don't test it.
I've told you that before, where I was like, get your tournament win with this deck before you do the next one.
Yeah, but I think that I'm always overestimating my opponent because I always want to try hard. Are you squeaking?
No? What did you ask me?
Are you squeaking?
What does that mean?
I just heard. I think it's my chair.
I nobody else can hear it. There's inaudible.
Okay, it's just so squeaky right now.
And it's not me. What are you squeaking? Get out of here. Mind your business. What else this past weekend? We had the 10K. I didn't do great.
Yeah, so you went 3-2.
No. I went 0-1 against Red Purple. I lost the mirror. A nice guy. He was part of a team, but it was like a red and black jersey team. It wasn't Labyrinth. Anyway, lost the Red Purple mirror. Mm-hmm. He was on the play, and it really felt like it mattered.
Yeah.
Never got out from under the play in game 3. Mm-hmm. I won my next 3. 0-1 to 3-1.
That's strong.
It's fine. It was good, and they were all aggressive decks.
Okay.
And one mirror that I beat.
Okay.
I actually think my next round was the mirror. I went mirror into mirror, and then I won that. And then I played green, purple, and I won that. And then amber, steel, and I won.
Nice.
Then I played amber, steel, and they got under me.
Mm-hmm.
Now 3-2. I'm dead for top 8.
Playing for top 16.
Playing for top 16. There's a lot to play for. They just raised the prizes. I play against the mirror again. Mm-hmm. And it was Hudson, who you guys don't know who that is, but he's a college student. He left Atlanta for a long time, but he started playing in Atlanta. He always wears like a soccer shirt. He's like a skinny kid. You probably don't recognize him, but I recognize him. Asked him how he was. He was doing great or whatever. We talked, and game 1, it was the red purple mirror, and it was one of those awkward games where he put a Flynn out on 2, and I had the Sisu, but I didn't have the Brawl, and then he also had the Sisu, and I was on the draw, so I had an extra card in my hand, and the Flynn triggered like 5 times.
Those are the worst games ever.
And there's just nothing. I was just, every turn, I was like looking at my hand, I was like, the Flynn's going to trigger again. None of these cards prevent that. I eventually Medusa'd it. That was when it stopped triggering.
You know how crazy it is that you didn't even have the Elsa?
I didn't have the Elsa. I played 4.
Or a Maui just to play.
Right. Well, I think, the Maui just to play would have been good too. I didn't have one of those either.
Yeah,
it was just,
your draw was terrible.
It was just terrible. My 4 mana options were all like, do I want to play Friends on the other side or Genie? I did both because I tapped my Sisu to sing Friends and Genie because I was already ahead on cards anyway, and I was just trying to find a Brawl. So I committed to the Friends on the other side in the hopes that there was a Brawl in the top 2 cards so that I could end this insanity. So that game ended, and he was like, and I was like, well, that was stupid. And he was like, yep, And so we played the next one. I'm on the play. I win pretty handily. And then game 3 goes like back and forth for a long time, but post Wrath, he hits me with the 2 castles, which I kind of wasn't expecting because people aren't playing as many castles. I had one of them dead, but not both. And so then he gained on the play, post Wrath, he gained the lore, and that's all she wrote. I lost. And that was my tournament. So then what did I do? I went home. You
decompressed and you came back the next day.
Felt to Mickey. When I went home, I was like, I'm not playing again. I was done.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I hate, losing Lorcana tournaments. I don't feel like I was nice to Hudson, but I kind of salted off against the guy I lost it. I didn't salt off, but I was kind of like, all right, see ya, at the end of it, because I was just the guy who beat me with Amber Steel. He beat me in game 3, one of those games where he kills my 2-drop and my 3-drop and my 4-drop while adding to the board. So it was like I could never kill any of his guys or get a hand. Like I had the Madam Mim Fox just rotting in my hand because I couldn't play another guy. Yeah. And he was like, well, I guess I just had the nuts. And I was like, yeah, man, I guess you did. And he was like, good games. And I was like, okay, like I'm ready to go. And then we packed up and left really fast. Yeah. So I was just, I went home to decompress. But the next day I woke up and I was like, I want to play more. So I went out and played again in the 2K, and it didn't go my way either. But I had a lot more fun. I got to finish that one. I was sitting right next to my friend Nathan, who, along with Kendall Burdett, begged me to play one more round after I was X and 2. It was 2-2. So I was like, all right, I'm done. They were like, no, play another one. So I played another one. I won mine, but I gave the guy the win because I was going to just leave. Yeah. And then my friend Nathan is right next to me, and he's playing against a 10-year-old kid, and he's beating him horrendously. Nathan's on your green steel list. So at one point, he has 3 tapped Diablos, and the kid's like, I'll sing Friends on the other side. And Nathan was like, I draw 6. He just felt so bad. But at the end of it, he got to tell the kid, hey, I'm giving you the win. And the kid lit up. He was like, it was like Christmas for him. So I had fun the next day at the
By the way, tournament. I think that's terrible.
What?
I think it's terrible.
To give the kid the win?
Yeah.
But he was going to leave anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Really?
Yep.
You're out of your mind. The kid was so happy.
I actually think it's just cheating.
We're actually in the X2 bracket. What do you mean
cheating.
It's just cheating?
It's not putting up the correct results. Not reporting the right results.
Oh, Nathan was just going to leave anyway.
Okay.
I don't even know why we played the round. I was like, let's not play the round. He's like, we'll play one for fun. We'll give it to him at the
end. Don't give it to him. Show him who's boss.
It's a 10-year-old kid.
Okay, I'm going to explain.
His parents are right there.
Yeah, even more reason. I'm going to tell you, these tournaments are not... I want to create an environment where kids get better.
Yeah.
And where I really see that in? I see that in chess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where every match ELO is being recorded, especially in a tournament.
Yeah.
And so you're always playing for something. And so if I play against a kid, I want that kid to beat me, but I want them to beat me because they beat me.
Right.
Because if that happens, then I think they will actually have earned it, and also like they will level up so much.
It makes sense. I think this situation was mostly, we crushed the kid. He felt horrible before we gave him the win.
Yeah, but now this kid is going to be like, I went 3-2 at this tournament.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to be like, I got 12th place, when in actual reality
he didn't beat Nathan.
Exactly.
Nathan doesn't have the heart to go through with this.
And it's tough because I think that we were the generation, we're a millennial generation, that they started giving out attendance awards and stuff like that.
Right. Wasn't our fault, by the way.
It wasn't our fault.
We didn't ask for that.
We didn't. But we saw the consequences of it growing up because we got beat down in our 20s.
Yeah, I did.
Me too.
Dang.
And so
I wish I had. That was a consequence of the attendance awards?
It is.
No way.
And so I really do think that I want the next generation to be stronger, especially if I have input for Lorcana.
Yeah.
And every little kid I play, have you seen those videos of basketball players just a kid shoots and they just knock it away?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do no.
Boom with Tumbe.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good. I agree with the stance. I'll be honest with you, Nathan doesn't have what it takes to look at that kid and be like, yeah, all right, I'm out of here with the win.
I just want them to be the strongest that they can possibly be. And I just want to create an environment for that. And I don't think that free wins does that for them.
In other news,
yep.
viewers of Zan Syed, fans of yours will notice, as of this recording, right before we recorded this, you played a sponsored stream of what game?
Marvel Rivals with Earlmeister.
Meister, Lorcana player, invited you to a sponsored stream. I want to say that I begged you to play this game.
Yes, and I don't like it.
I don't like it as much as... So we're playing Deadlock.
Yes.
And Deadlock is like our kind of game. It's got strategic depth. It has choices that matter, moment-to-moment gameplay. Every game's like such a nuanced thing is happening. Marvel Rivals is a little more popcorn, a little more like, here's the match. You play the match, 5 seconds later, it's over. Maybe you can get better, maybe not. You're mostly clicking on your opponents, but it's also very accessible. You can play on PlayStation and Xbox. It's like fun. It's completely free, and it's not even like free kind of where you have to like unlock characters or whatever. They're just giving you all the characters. So the business model is pretty agreeable to most.
Yeah. No, I think the game is good for socializing. I think that a lot of kids are going to be able to connect, and even adults. Like, I mean, we had a 6-stack, right? Last night. Was it last night?
It was last night.
So last night, it was like 6 of us playing together, and that was a really good time. The thing that really bothers me about this game is like it's not like super clear how you like level up in this game. You know what I mean? As like a player. And I think that whenever I play a game and there's like small improvements I can make to become better, it ends up translating in my real life, right? And it really translated in Lorcana, right? Like I did that in Magic. I would lose to I was in college and I would lose to a person who's been playing for 10 years. And I'd be like, hey, what could I have done better? They give me a little bit snippet, not the whole pie, because they don't want me to start beating them. And I would take whatever I could from that, whatever I thought was true, and they weren't just like saying something, and improve on it. And I feel like Marvel Rivals so far lacks in that. It's a bit of button smashing, and it just makes me sad if this is the most popular game. Yeah.
Let's do Zan's game reviews real quick. Rated out of 10. You love this.
Which one?
Marvel Rivals.
6.5.
Wow. IGN gave it like a 9.
Yeah, we should be opposites, right?
And by the way, Zan and I have like a personal friends rule. I'm going to share it with you, the listener. If we're rating something out of 10, the number 7 is banned. You can't say 7.
What's your rating?
Well, I always say that the best, most fun game is the one your friends are playing. Mm-hmm. So last night we played a 6-stack with all of our adult friends. I haven't played a 6-stack squad since like high school. 6-stack seems impossible to me.
Oh yeah.
So it has that unifying factor. It is very popcorn. It's very, you play it, you look at the colors, you have fun, almost like a Marvel movie. In that way, kind of poetic, right? Because we're really emulating the source material. We're not going too deep. We're not alienating anybody. But obviously that's more like my personal musings than any like thing the game did. The game's pretty well balanced. I don't feel like anybody's broken. Which is pretty hard with 33 people. I also don't feel like anybody's terrible, like that's like kind of it. It's kind of unreasonably well balanced.
Yeah. But then again, that's why I feel like basically all the characters are the same.
IGN gave it a 9. You gave it a 6.5. I think I'm going to give it it's like 7.4, where it's like so good stuff going for it, but like kind of like the worst part of Smash Bros, where like a lot of the characters are the same, and then like.
But in Smash Bros, you can feel the difference.
In 3 months, this game is. I'd be shocked if a lot of people were playing it.
Oh, I think it's gonna only get more popular.
Really?
Yeah.
But it has no depth. You can't play it for that long.
I'm not so sure.
Okay. Dang. In that case, then I'm gonna bump it up to 8.1 if you think it has longevity.
I think it's longevity. I think it's a Fortnite type game.
It's a free game that has longevity that all your friends are playing. What's not to like?
I mean, the IP is the thing that matters the most. What is this game? It's just Overwatch.
No, it's way better than Overwatch.
No, it's actually a worse game than Overwatch.
I never played Overwatch.
Okay, they basically took Overwatch and dumbed it down. Right?
Yeah.
Because the problem with Overwatch was certain roles were too powerful.
Right.
So they had to dumb it down. And so in this one, imagine that everybody, instead of everybody shooting real guns, they're shooting Nerf guns. Right? And that's basically, everybody loves, like, the, what was it? It's like
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, I was trying to say, Bop It. Kids.
Yeah.
Bop It, Sock It. No, not that. They used to wear like little gloves.
They're like Hulk hands?
But they hit each other with them.
Yeah, sock 'em boppers.
Yes. Thanks, bro. Save me there.
All right, great. Sock and Boppers game, 8.1. If it has longevity and your friends are playing it for a while, you should download it and play it. In other games-related news...
League of Legends.
What about League of Legends?
Card game.
The League of Legends card game got announced.
Yeah.
I think it looks ugly.
So apparently all that art is just temporary art.
Oh.
Yeah, and the rules of the game, they released a rule document. It's quite interesting.
Because Pavel was asking.
Yep.
The guy who made Pixelborn was on Twitter he was trying to like piece together. He was like, here's what we know about the rules so far. And like kind of in response to that, the lead designer of the game was like, here's the rules document actually. You don't have to guess what the rules are. We'll tell you the rules.
Okay, so do you know what the rules are?
No, I didn't read it.
Okay, so I'll tell you what the game is like. The game is like, the One Piece mana system?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like that mana system, except for it's like the Magic mana system, where you have colors and you have basically a land deck.
So you have a land deck in One Piece. Every turn you can put 2 lands from your land deck into play. You might think, well, then there's no variation. You just go up. Sometimes as a cost for one of the cards, you have to put a land from your land deck back, which can add kind of an interesting knob to turn in game development,
it's much
right?
Easier to say, like, it's like a deck that has all cards that only ink.
Yeah.
Right? And so basically, but there's a color assigned to them. So imagine there's a ruby and there's like a sapphire, and you have to align the colors with the cards that you're playing.
Right.
So it is possible that you're playing like a ruby sapphire deck and you want to play a ruby card, but you've only drawn all your sapphire ink.
Why would they add that?
Exactly.
What is the benefit? We're like, and also we've added the ability for our players to get color screwed. It's like, okay, that's not anyone's favorite part of the game, but okay, great.
Yeah, so I was talking to a friend and he's like, that's great. And it's like, oh, this person is not coming from Lorcana.
No.
They're coming from another game.
Right.
And so I'm already kind of turned off from it, but I will still play it to just give it a shot.
I'm trying them all. I'm trying the Pudgy Penguins card game now.
Is it like Cup Penguin?
No, it's called like Vibes Alpha.
Vibes Alpha. That sounds like a crypto scam.
It is a crypto scam. If anyone's wondering whether or not to play it, do you like crypto scams? Some people really like those.
Don't play it. Don't play it.
I don't recommend it yet, but I'm gonna tweet some deck lists later on.
Okay.
Everyone at my work is making me do it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For those who don't know, I work at a media production company that primarily focuses on crypto media. If you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to turn this off, I hate crypto, that's pretty much where I am too. So we're at least totally in agreement.
Yeah.
But these guys are nice.
Oh, guys are great.
The guys are great. They love crypto scams. They love getting scammed. They're like, it's an all new coin. This one's gonna be I lost it. And I'm like, you loved that. You enjoyed that so much.
It's basically like a bad beat story from Lorcana.
Exactly.
It's like, I was going to make it to the world championship.
Yeah, was going to the moon, and then all my bags fell.
And then they were too prepared.
Right. Well.
And then they played the Tamatoa.
Obviously, then they had the Tamatoa after the third Be Prepared. I couldn't believe it.
Lucky dimed you.
Hey, you're twisting the last episode's motif back on me.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Whoa. Zan is evolving, folks. He can riff now. In other gaming news, Pokemon Pocket released their second set. I think it is a perfect second set of a card game.
Oh yeah, what is it, like 69 cards?
It's small, which I think is good. I think your first set, big. Second set, small. Why? Because people just spent a lot of time and effort collecting. Now give them something easy where they're like, yes, I can collect this and be done. I'm almost already done with the second set.
Dude, they are destroying our dopamine.
What do you mean? Everyone's dopamine's fine. God. You know, 40 years ago, we didn't even know the word dopamine, and everybody was happy all the time.
How do you already have a Celebi?
I have one Celebi. Anyway, let's not talk about that. What they added to gameplay was good. They gave us like sort of a universal utility card in the new Mew. That's going to be meta disrupting. They gave the decks that weren't doing really well. So the Psychic, Electric, and Fire decks are kind of the best ones. Now they gave Grass a chance. They gave Fighting a chance. Water kind of always is going to have its like Misty cheese, but they added the new Vaporeon that might be good in that deck. You know, it's yet to be determined. So, Pokemon Pocket, I think, did a really good job with the second set. I think if you are interested in card game design, you should look and see what they did. I think the second set being small, helping out the archetypes that weren't as good in set one, and giving people like tech cards to beat some of the best set one decks, but not adding too much to the metagame is just like the perfect way to do set two.
I agree, but I think that it only works for like a phone game. It wouldn't work for Lorcana, I think people would be upset to buy a smaller set.
Really?
Yeah, if it costs the same.
The game we used to play, Magic the Gathering, had small sets, and it didn't like them either.
Exactly.
Like Dark Ascension, they were like always writing articles about how bad, like, oh my god, we had to get through Dark Ascension.
Yeah, and we'd be like, the drafting was a lot of fun, but we would always be left with, we need to buy these cards, and they're hard to find because people didn't open enough of it.
Yeah, because it was small sets.
Yeah.
You're totally right about that.
So it only works online.
I like that this one was easier to collect.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there was a great lesson learned here. There's a way to do it. Just not... I don't think I think it would be a net negative for Lorcana.
Neopets also released a second set that was like pretty small just now.
Yeah, that game's already dead though.
That game was, I don't know if it was ever alive. It's an Upper Deck game, so it's going to be around for... Upper Deck makes hockey cards still. So they're comfortable making cards that nobody buys.
I think no one is actually happy losing money.
I don't know. I think Upper Deck's just in it for love of printing the cards.
I don't think so. I don't think there's no company in the U.S. that like looks at their quarterly report and it's like, at least we tried.
At least we made a bunch of cards.
And people didn't like them. They didn't spend money on them. We lost money on them. I think the person that was in charge of that just gets fired.
Upper Deck's been around forever.
Yeah, but the Neopets guy is gone.
No, they're still making them. They're happy about it.
He's almost gone. They're just waiting after Christmas.
The 4 people in the Discord that play Upper Deck Neopets are like losing it right now. They're having a blast.
Okay, good for the 4 people. But it's almost over.
All right, Dan. Well, that's all that I had for you for today. Is there anything else you want to hit?
I just want to say, I'm so grateful for Lorcana. 2024 was a great year for Lorcana, and I'm really looking forward to 2025.
I just want to say studio's coming together. We're going to have a lot of really great content for you guys down the pipeline. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'm so happy with how all the stuff's growing. Was happy. I got a lot of people came up to me at the CCS and they were like, "Where's Zan?" And I was like, "Oh, well, don't ask me that. Shut up. I don't care. I don't know. I didn't even talk to him today." It's
God.
That's not what I said. It's how I felt.
I understand.
Right. So thanks so much. You can find me on Twitter at MoxJeremy, on Blue Sky at moxjeremy.bluesky.
All right. I don't have a Blue Sky.
Woo.
Nor will I get a Blue Sky.
Woo.
And you're already here. So thanks for being here. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Next time.
Bye.